Good evening, everyone. The weekend has finally arrived, and we've had our first full week of contact sports, and it's been everything we could have asked for and more with some tremendous performances. Speaking of that, here at ABC 10, we recognize the importance of our UP athletes' play in sports. And we want to make sure we give proper recognition to those players by naming an Athlete of the Week for their outstanding performance. This week's honor is going to a Marquette freshman who had 4 goals in his team's dominant 8-0 victory over Negaunee. That outstanding freshman is Jackson POTULNY. And we learned early on that clearly hockey runs in the family, as his dad Grant is the coach of the Northern program. We had a chance to speak with Jackson about his performance individually and his team.
It felt great. I was trying to get number 1 first, and then I got that one, and then then we just built up. The team was great. They kind of helped me out the whole time, so it's all with the team.
Why don't you talk a little bit about your team's performance? Obviously a tough loss in that opening night, but to turn it around, obviously a younger team in Negaunee, but 8-0 is pretty impressive.
Yeah, we played hard the whole time. It was just a whole team effort. It wasn't just me, it was everybody. We were all working hard, getting pucks low, and put pucks on net.
After talking with Jackson, we pulled Coach Doug GARROW aside to talk about the young freshman and where he goes after a 4-goal performance. We also talked about what it's like having your dad as a coach and just who exactly is the tougher coach, him or Coach POTULNY.
Well, number one for me, I want to have Jackson be a better two-way player. I think the offensive side of the game, you can see he has. I think for him to get to the next level, he has to learn to play in both ends of the ice, being a centerman. He has to learn to play in a defensive zone, and I think that'll come with time. I'm sure Grant is. Coaching your kid is never easy. I've coached my kids my whole life, and I'm harder on them than I am anybody else. And I'm sure Grant would say the same thing, that he's probably very hard on Jackson because, our expectations are higher for our own children. And sometimes you want to make sure, too, as a coach, you don't want to show favoritism. So sometimes you go the other way, and you make it even more difficult on your own child. And I'm sure Grant would say he's probably harder on Jackson than I would be.
How about a little basketball to bring us into the weekend? The Marquette Redmen back in action, and they are hosting the Menominee Maroons in their home opener. And Marquette looking for a better outcome in the game, and they'll need this guy to be one of the main reasons. Cameron Karp. He didn't have the best game against Escanaba, but he gets off to a great start right here, hitting the 3 for the Redmen to open up the scoring. And then off the Brady Schultz miss, Ty Larman is going to get the rebound after the air ball, and he's going to bring it up the court before finding his buddy Karp, who's going to find the junior Aiden Lauren in the corner for a second consecutive Marquette 3 and a quick timeout by Menominee. And Maroons trying to finally end the early scoring drought, as it's going to be Brody Warr curl inside with the runner and the foul to get Menominee on the board. And now, under 5 minutes to play in the first quarter, Larman driving in from the court with a nice little stop and spin with the teardrop finish and the Redmen bucket. And now it is the Maroons' turn for a little offense. Stealing the ball away from Karp and Schultz, he's going to push it up the floor before he finds Aiden Bellevue wide open for the 3, and he hits it. And now, clock ticking down in the first quarter, only a couple seconds left. And Karp with a nice little shake and bake to leave the defender behind him for the jumper, but it rattles out, but Lauderman is there for the board and the bucket off the hook shot. And the Redmen looked very impressive, beating the Maroons 69-51.